Alright. This book is entitled Global Garbage, and it is a look inside of Windex and cans on the earth. And as you can see, that's the earth. This book does have pictures. It's got one. Don't dump on me. Some manufacturers and politicians contend that toxic wastes are an inevitable byproduct of modern technology and the service conveniences of consumer products and services. Thus, citizens ought to be willing to accept waste disposal sites in their backyards. I do not want to dump in my backyard. I already have a compost pile. That's not in the book. But public interest groups insist that no one should have to live in an area contaminated by toxic pollutants or with the threat of such contamination. That is correct. Many citizens have organized to fight toxic waste dumps and incinerators in their communities. I'm a part of such a league. It is called People Against Trash. PAT. Like pat on the back. One of the earliest protests against toxic waste was organized in an upstate New York community. I said that wrong. Oh, yes, I'm already bored. Ooh, let's find an interesting one. Dumping on poor nations. That sounds sad. Next chapter. Let's see what else we have in here. Oh, found one. Ocean dumping. There's your picture of the ocean. Use your imaginations. While governments and citizen groups worldwide are just beginning to focus attention on trade in toxic waste and hazardous products, another global dumping problem has been under investigation for several decades. That's 10 years or more. Disposal of hazardous materials at sea, which is the ocean, which is the name of this chapter. Since the open seas and oceans are not owned by anyone, except God, because He created it, nations use these water bodies as global garbage cans or open sewers. That is a fact. Have you seen the Gulf? Not impressed. Industrial countries worldwide contribute to the problem. That means that factories dump into the water. Hashtag Michigan. I'm just saying. Vast amounts of contaminating sewage, industrial waste, and dredgings, those are soil sediments dug from waterways, have been dumped regularly from barges and ships into the oceans because ships are gross. That's why I don't go on Carnival Cruise Lines. Plastic throwaways such as garbage bags and six-pack holders, sinners, and huge fishing nets have entangled and destroyed dolphins, sea lions, turtles, waterfowl, because they smell, and other aquatic animals, to name a few. Oil spills and petroleum waste have endangered sea life in coastal areas in many parts of the world. Thanks a lot, Saddam. In addition, hazardous pollutants from land-based sources endanger or destroy offshore areas near industrial countries. Oh goodness, let's find another chapter. That was very sad. Ooh, debates over burning toxic waste at sea. There is not a picture. Nations have not been able to reach agreement on the practice of burning hazardous waste at sea. I don't even know how you burn something on the water, but it ain't my business. Several European nations, that's in Europe, burn waste in incinerators on ships, dumping the ash into ocean waters. Disgusting. Some experts insist that ocean incineration is safe and that it is the most cost-effective way to dispose of millions of tons of hazardous waste that are generated each year in industrial nations. That's a mouthful. That is not the word. Proponents claim that when modern incineration equipment is used and burning is handled correctly, all but about 0.0001 of the material is destroyed. That isn't even a unit, it's just 0.001. I don't even know what they measure it in. Tons of color, for all I know. But that can result in a ton of waste left over after burning 10,000 tons. Interesting fact. Critics of ocean incineration point out that even small amounts of unburned hazardous waste can accumulate in marine organisms. That can lead to biomagnification. Fact. Another danger of burning hazardous waste at sea is the possibility that an incineration ship might accidentally leak. Because let's face it, nobody's perfect. Which could be a major catastrophe. The EPA, not sure what that stands for, but I'm assuming it's important, once warned that a ship's cargo of PCBs, not Panama City Beach, y'all, would be capable of damaging or destroying all life in the Gulf of Mexico. Oh my goodness, no more spring break. Nevertheless, a U.S. firm, Waste Management Inc., the largest waste handling company in the world, that includes all 7 continents, or 8, I forget how many there are, unless you're counting the moon. The largest waste handling company in the world was allowed to use a location in the Gulf of Mexico for experimental burns of liquid hazardous waste. That's why my tan looks so good when I get back from PCB. I'm glowing. Pun intended. But citizens living along the Gulf organized massive protests against the practice. I thought it was just spring break in November. And a federal court decision decided the 1988 Ocean Dumping Ban Act to cover incineration at sea. In early 91, the EPA ordered the Gulf burn site closed. Thank you, Jesus. And that concludes Global Garbage. Goodbye.
I'm sorry. Are you guys doing something in here? Am I in the way?
What's going on? Bryce,
Javen!
can you help me?
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on.
Neither do I, Javen!
Well, what are we going to do?
I'm gonna turn on this computer!
That's nice.
It won't turn on!
How do you get it to work then?
I don't know! Just look, I don't know